Chapter 3, How to Live. A. Be Born. Michaud. Montaigne's original self, the one that did not write essays but merely moved and breathed like everyone else, had a simpler start. He came into this world on February 28, 1533, the same year as the future Queen Elizabeth I of England. His birthplace took between 11 o'clock and noon, took place then, in the family chateau, which would be his lifelong home. He was named Michel, but to his father at least, he would always be known as Michaud. The nickname appears even in documents as formal as his father's will, after the boy had turned into a man. In the essays, Montaigne wrote that he had been carried into his mother's womb for 11 months. This was an odd claim, since it was well known that such a prodigy of nature was barely possible. Mischievous minds would surely have leaped to indelicate conclusions. In Rabelais' Gargantua, the eponymous giant also spends 11 months in his mother's womb. Does this sound strange, Rabelais asks, and answers himself with a series of tongue-in-cheek case studies in which lawyers were clever enough to prove the legitimacy even a child whose supposed father had died 11 months before birth. Thanks to these learned laws, our virtuous widows may, for 2 months after the husband's demise, freely indulge in games of grip upper with a pig in a poke, heels overhead and to their heart's content. Montaigne had read Rabelais and must have thought of the obvious jokes, but he seemed unconcerned. No paternity doubts emerged elsewhere in the essays. Montaigne even muses on the power of inheritance in his family, describing traits that had come down to himself through his great-grandfather, grandfather, and father, including an easygoing honesty and a propensity to kidney stones. He seems to have considered himself very much his father's son. Montaigne was happy to talk about honesty and hereditary ailments.